Well, guys, after a long defensive struggle in Game 6, it's official. The Carolina Hurricanes have eliminated the New York Islanders 4-2 in this series. What can I say? This series was exactly what we expected to see. Really tight, hard-checking series, good defensive play and good goaltending from both teams. In the end, it just came down to getting a lucky bounce here and there in this series. I mean, we saw early on Carolina got some fortunate bounces and the Islanders not really as much. And this was that series that was a lot of games were determined by one goal.
Oh my gosh, this series was so freaking boring to watch. Quite honestly, I had such a hard time. Honestly, I'm not a fan of either of these teams, and neither is Scott, but it was so hard to watch this series. Like, it was so boring. Islanders, every time they have a power play, they can't do anything on the power play. They scored one power play goal in the whole series. That's not going to cut it. I mean, I had Islanders in my prediction to win this series, but not by much. But I expected a tight series. It was a pretty tight series. Like, it went to Game 6. But you know what? Like, you look at both teams. Like, barely anyone scored any goals. Like, the highest points is like Sebastian Aho with 7 points. Just not good enough.
Yeah, let's get to that. One of the biggest differences in this series, with both goaltenders being pretty solid, actually all three, because we saw Antti Ranta and Freddie Anderson for Game 6, but the power play, that was like the key difference here. Carolina was making way more out of their power play opportunities than the Islanders were. You saw that power play unit. Basically, if you look at the scoring on our up there on our screen here, all these are the guys who basically pay the power play one for Carolina. Like, you got Aho, Stefan Neeson chipped in a couple goals, Seth Jarvis as well, and then of course Brett Burns. And I don't think without like the special teams advantage, this series would have gone to Carolina, quite honestly, because at 5-on-5, the Islanders for most of this series looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys that stands out to me in not a good way is Martin Necas. Like, he's only got 3 points in this series. I don't think that's good enough. Like,
but he was minus a bunch.
Yeah, he's also minus a bunch. He's just not good. Like quite honestly, like, I just feel like the team this year is not good enough. They have a lot of injury problems. They were lucky they faced the weak Islanders team in the first round. I'm very, very curious to see how they're going to do in the second round.
Well, let's talk about a player here quickly for Carolina who did stand out and absolutely proved to be a star, and that was none other than Sebastian Aho. Yeah. This guy absolutely was the difference. Like, he was the game breaker for this series between both teams. Without this player playing as well as he did, this was anyone's, like, if you took him out of this, it was a complete wash. You don't know. You flip a coin who's going to win. But Aho was the difference maker. He had a game winner. He had multiple goals. And I mean, he's the only player who is like actually like sufficiently above a point per game. This guy is just really solid two-way player. And I just absolutely love this guy's game.
Yeah, I just want to touch on New York Islanders for a second here. I think the players that really stood out to me are actually their whole defense core. I thought their whole defense core was good.
They did good.
Sazikis was good. I like Clutterbuck, Matt Martin. These guys were actually pretty good. Brock Nelson put up some points, but guys that really stood out to me in a negative way for the New York Islanders were
big boys.
Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal. They weren't doing anything in this whole series.
No, if you look at the scoring we have on the thing, that's all one line who scored for the Islanders. Every goal came from the Nelson, Palmieri, and Engvall line. Like, I mean, these are the only guys who are putting up any offense for this team through 6 games, and that's not going to get it done.
Of course not, and it's just embarrassing, quite honestly. Like, they went out so hard this in the trade deadline to acquire Bo Horvat, and Bo Horvat to me hasn't done enough in this playoff series.
I didn't notice him. I did not notice him in that series
at all. He just wasn't good.
No, he was bad. That was the biggest difference. Is one team's first line was absolutely popping off and looking really solid, and the other team's first line was completely invisible much of this series.
I just want to say one more shout out is Sorokin. Oh my God, he played so good throughout the series.
I felt so bad for that guy.
I feel so bad for this guy. I feel so bad that he's playing on this crappy team. I'm sorry.
Just no run support. No run support.
Just no support. Yeah. Like, can't score any goals. It's disgusting.
Yeah, not to hate on the Islanders too much, because honestly, I did like that they managed to make the playoffs this year with a team that really didn't have a lot of offense. So I give them credit for playing their style of game really well. It's just, man, they really kind of shit the bed this game. I mean, must-win game, and you can't produce any offense against a goalie who hadn't played yet.
Yeah, they looked good in the first half of that game. Like, very good. They were out battling. They were being physical and hitting all these Carolina players. They were looking really good and getting the puck and shooting the net. But they weren't, like, the problem is it's very evident that New York Islanders don't have the polish to score goals. They
Yeah.
just couldn't.
No.
They were getting these chances, but they weren't scoring. Like one of the goals were like, oh, Barzal's gotta have that goal there in that first period. Remember that? We're just like, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know how that puck didn't go in the net there.
Yeah.
So we have to really think about what's next for the Islanders, because this is a very interesting team. They have a very good defense. They have an all-world goalie. Sorokin's an absolute stud. We really like Pelech. We really like Pollock. Dobson's growing. He's young, but he's doing okay for the most part. I mean, he was +3 in the series. Not bad at all for a 22-year-old. But this team has like a mix of youth and age, and they got to kind of, I guess, retool, because I don't think they're going to go full rebuild. They don't really need to full rebuild with some of the core they have, but they definitely got to retool around a couple of these guys.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's not like the Winnipeg Jets, who we feel
They
need
have to
to do a
rebuild, yeah.
total rebuild. But this team has a lot of good pieces. Noah Dobson, they have a lot. Their defense core are young. No, Romanov.
They just re-signed
right?
Barzal, so I mean, he's sticking around.
Their players are good on this team. They just need to add more offensive punch. When I was watching this game today, I was telling Scott they need shooters.
They need some wingers who can shoot.
They need some wingers who can shoot the puck. Like, they have no one that can shoot the damn puck.
No, that's going to be the offseason. Number one thing for the offseason. These guys are going to go after get some shooters, some 20 goal scorers, 25 goal scorers even, that they can put in their top 6 on the wings to play with these guys like Matt Barzal and Bo Horvat to actually make this thing run. Because right now, their defense and goaltending is going to win them a lot of games, but if they want to succeed in the playoffs, they need some scoring.
Yep.
When we look at the other end, we got to look at Carolina here. I mean, this is the winning team now. They really impressed me with their defensive structure. As always, Rod Brendamore just has phenomenal structure to his team's play. Now we got to look at if they play either New Jersey or the Rangers. Right now, as of recording, it is 3-2 Devils, so more likely New Jersey. But it could go either way still. You never know. What do you think about their chances in the next series?
We'll save that for the preview video when it comes out. But the thing is, I'll give you a light gist of it. Is I feel like Carolina hasn't impressed me. That's what I'll say.
I'll say one of their biggest concerns has got to be that second line scoring. Kotkaniemi's line did very, very little in this series against the Islanders, and their depth scoring was pretty much non-existent. If it wasn't for just really good defensive play and both Ranta and Anderson playing pretty well, and then super power Aho out there just carrying the game, I think this team against a better quality team would struggle.
To be fair, yeah. Also, their goalie tandem wasn't good this regular season.
But they stepped up in the playoffs.
They stepped up in the playoffs, but keep in mind, this is New York Islanders. They can't score.
No, I know. It'll be interesting to see against other the Devils on high-flying offense.
It'll be interesting when they are going up against a New Jersey Devils, for example, who have a ton of players that are very fast and they can shoot the puck in the net. Good luck.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see who's going to win that next series and see who they get to play, because as you know, we will be giving you guys previews for the round 2 matchups. But until then, take care and enjoy the rest of your night.
Good night.